to when I say this is just the tip of the iceberg.
Year history with more than 1.23 million.
I am Ewan McEoin. I'm the Senior Curator at the NGV of Contemporary Design and Architecture and one of the lead curators on the Triennial.
How is the Triennial shaping up in contrast to the previous Triennial?
How is it shaping up in contrast? I think, I suppose people can expect a similar kind of experience in that the structure of the show we're maintaining in terms of it's the whole building here, all the floors throughout the collection galleries, and the qualities, I suppose, of the projects changes and evolves each iteration. I think that this one we are excited, I suppose, about that layers that would be different from previous ones. We've got a bit of a tension going on between more historical work in terms of looking at mediums that have endured through time, so we're talking about textile practice or painting practice and sculpture, but also then conversely and in dialogue and in tension with that, we're looking at artificial intelligence, immersive digital media environments, and the saturated media world that now wraps around us. And so we're interested in the interplay between those things. I think for me, something that is maybe not in contrast but in continuity from previous triennials. We also continue to ask audiences to reflect on our troubled relationship with nature, and we think about whether, and also our deep love of that as well, like of natural systems, and that's something that I think continues to bubble away, because what we don't do is go out with one theme. We really are looking at conversations with people that we want to work with about what they want to do, what stories they're telling, and you can distill from that really a sense of from many different parts of the world, people are all reflecting on similar things but from different perspectives.
How important is the Triennial in terms of addressing the importance in this culture of distraction, of just hitting pause and just contemplating a work of art?
Well, it's a good question. Really, there's a few things in that. Offering a show this ambitious for free, for me, is very important, because, it's nice to say it's free, but actually that matters, because people can come back to this. Historically now, I've done 4 of these shows, and we find that a lot of people come many times. They know that there's a lot of layering. There's also a lot of conversation between the new work that we're presenting in the Triennial and the collection that we have. So there's this opportunity to actually bring people into dialogue again with the collection, so that because of the way the journey works through the building, we find that it's become really interesting how the language of being with art or being with design, the language that the understood knowledge of just being able to take time to reflect, and that there is no one interpretation of anything. These are things that yes, you can read a label, but you don't need to. It is one of the great privileges that we have in our society to be able to take time to do these things, and I think we hope that what we offer is something where people can really broaden their skills of reflection, of connecting the dots between things that seem disparate, because there's so many relationships between all of these things at the moment. And yes, we live in but also we like a bit of spectacle, so there will be spectacle. There is the pace, really. There's moments of intensity and there's moments of great stillness and reflection, and those, I think that's just emblematic of the world we live in. It's just whether people actually take time in their everyday lives to access those things, you know. So it's like, do people take time to meditate or not? You know, these are personal choices, but this show offers you opportunities to sort of touch on those many different ways that we can be in the world.
Just quickly, just on the issue of interpretation.
Yes.
People often say, oh, yeah, I don't get it. If someone doesn't get it, good.
I don't think, my personal, as a curator, my philosophy is that there is no one thing to get, you know, that anything, any work of design or art is a window into the culture of the time, the economics of the time, the environment of the time, and what I'm interested in is more about the language of being able to just see the connections between things, and the fact is anything can be viewed from many different perspectives, and we don't subscribe to an idea that there is one, you know, knowledgeable way of interpreting something or some kind of secret language that you have to know to be able to enjoy art.
You love the fact that it's free.
Yeah.
The fact that there's, you know, cost of living issues now pressing on everyone.
Yeah.
I imagine that the fact that the Triennial is free will have enhanced appeal this year.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's the same for everybody. I mean, the reality is that there's less and less on offer to us in the world that is free, other than maybe going out into nature and things. So there are, you know, I think it's also just about reminding ourselves to take a moment to, it's very healing, I think, to be inspired and to reflect, and also to be with other people. And that's, you know, that's what we're here for.
I'm Anna Honan. I'm Assistant Curator for Contemporary Art at NGV.
And what has been your specific role in the putting together of this Triennial?
We work with kind of a group of curators, so there's about 10 curators working on the exhibition, with different teams, with different departments. So I work in contemporary art, and we each kind of take a project or a few projects. So I'm closely working on about 15 of the projects, but then we all work together across all of the exhibition to make sure it all flows and comes together nicely.
And broadly speaking, what is the general purpose of a show like this?
I think the general purpose, wow, it's a big question. It's, I think it just shows like a real snapshot of what's happening in contemporary art around the world. This exhibition has nearly 100 artists from 35 countries, and it just shows Melbourne's public and tourists to Melbourne just this really diverse array of what's happening in contemporary practice. So we've got artists from Peru, artists from Europe, artists from New York, all over, working in really different ways, working with different issues, working with different ideas, just broadens our minds, makes us look at different concepts and ideas in different ways.
I did want to ask you specifically about the changing role of art in life, especially today, where we live in a culture of distraction from multiple sources all the time. What purpose does art provide in that context?
I think it offers an opportunity to slow down and to think a bit more deeply about things. I think our lives kind of live in this Instagram, social media, news headline stroll that we're just constantly being fed small or huge pieces of information. And I think exhibitions offer an opportunity to really sit with one idea and to slowly walk through and just to consider things as artists do from really different perspectives. And with this being a free exhibition as well, invites a really diverse group of people into the NGV to see these works, to think about things. There'll of course be talks from artists. Yeah, it just offers a moment to reflect. With cost of living measured, and strolling on people, it's even more important that art and culture is free and accessible, and it's for everyone. It's not just for a small group of people. We want as many people as possible to see these shows, and that's been seen from the past triennials. The first triennial was the most visited exhibition in the we're extending even more this time. So we always want more and more people to see these shows. Yeah, I think, as you said, I think it's more important than ever to keep these shows accessible. It wasn't a setup. I think the penguins have a bit of a mind of their own.
I was going to say, so
They do kind of sit and hover and just slightly move from side to side as if they have their own kind of consciousness in that space. They are helium-filled inflatables, so you can't control them entirely. So people are invited to pick them up, they can float back down to the ground. But yeah, we didn't plan for one to go to the ceiling, obviously. Someone will have to retrieve that. But a bit of extra fun.